Comfort is costing you everything. Not loudly, not all at once, but silently, day by day. The soft bed you don't want to leave, the excuses you repeat until they sound logical, the routine that keeps you average but calm. Comfort doesn't attack you, it sedates you. And while you're relaxed, time is moving, opportunities are passing, and someone hungrier is taking the life you could have had. This is the trap. Comfort makes you feel like you're winning while you're actually losing. Let's be honest. Nothing powerful was ever built in comfort. Comfort produces consumers, not leaders. It creates people who talk big but move slow, who dream loud but act small. When life gets hard, comfort whispers, you deserve rest. When pressure shows up, comfort says, do it tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into years. That's how potential dies. Not from failure, but from ease. You aren't the most unattainable. Not because they are, but because you've stopped pushing yourself into the uncomfortable zones where growth lives. That moment when you're tired, but you force yourself to grind. When everyone else is quitting and you're still standing, that's the moment ambition is forged. Comfort never gives you that. Comfort is like a comfortable cell in a prison. It tricks you into thinking you're free, but in reality, it keeps you small, predictable, average, and here's the kicker. The world doesn't care about your comfort. Nobody respects someone who chooses ease over effort. Opportunities go to people who fight for them, who embrace the grind, who refuse to let temporary comfort dictate permanent outcomes. Ambition is about action under resistance. It's about saying yes to the hard things, no to the soft lies. The second you allow comfort to dictate your choices, you're not just avoiding pain, you're actively sabotaging your life. You're watching your potential decay while the clock ticks, and time doesn't pause for comfort. Time rewards action, not excuses. And if you're too comfortable to move, you're choosing to be left behind. Every time you choose comfort over ambition, ask yourself, what am I really trading for this temporary ease, a moment of rest, a fleeting dopamine hit? Because what you're giving up is far bigger. Your goals, your respect, your self-worth, the version of yourself that could have conquered, excelled, dominated. Comfort is not relaxation, it's theft. It steals what you don't even realize you have until it's gone. And here's the final hook. The longer you indulge comfort, the harder it is to break free. The longer you stay soft, the weaker you get. But the moment you reject it, the moment you step out of the easy lane, the moment you embrace discomfort, you reclaim what was always yours, your ambition, your drive, your destiny. Discomfort is where power is born. Most people run from it, hide from it, pretend it doesn't exist. They stay in their little zones, wrapped in warmth, convinced that life is supposed to feel easy. But here's the reality nobody tells you. Growth lives on the edge of pain. Strength is forged where the soft people quit. If you want to dominate your life, if you want to become unstoppable, you need to stop chasing comfort and start embracing discomfort like it's your ally. Every time you push through exhaustion, every time you tackle a task that scares you, every time you put yourself in situations that demand more than you think you can handle, you are building power. Real power doesn't come from sitting back and waiting for luck. It comes from intentionally stepping into resistance and forcing yourself to overcome it. The grind isn't just a cliche. It's the only proven path from weak to powerful, from ordinary to exceptional. Think about the way life is designed. Nothing valuable comes without friction. Success isn't served on a silver platter. It's earned in sweat and struggle and moments when every bone in your body is screaming for relief. Comfort feels safe, but safety doesn't produce results. Weak people look for shortcuts. They avoid pain. They stay small, and they wonder why life never rewards them. The strong are addicted to discomfort. They wake up early when everyone else is sleeping. They push their limits when everyone else is quitting. They welcome the grind that terrifies the average person. Because they understand a simple truth, discomfort is the furnace that melts weakness and forges excellence. Here's the thing most people fail to realize. Your mind is like a muscle. You don't make it stronger by doing what's easy. You make it stronger by choosing to do what's hard, by refusing to back down when resistance shows up. Every time you endure discomfort and still take action, you are increasing your capacity to handle more. And this doesn't just apply to your body or your work. It applies to your confidence, your mindset, your ability to take risks, your identity itself. Discomfort teaches lessons that comfort never can. It teaches discipline. It teaches focus. It teaches resilience. It teaches you that your limits are not walls, they're mirrors reflecting how much more you are capable of if you refuse to quit. Look at anyone who has ever dominated their field. Every champion, every mogul, every fighter. They didn't rise to the top by avoiding pain or playing it safe. They thrived because they embraced struggle. They trained when it was exhausting. They studied when it was boring. They risked when it was terrifying. They lived in the uncomfortable zones most people flee. And here's the hook. You don't have to be naturally gifted to do the same. You only have to decide that discomfort is no longer something to escape, it's something to pursue. The more you step into it, the more it strengthens you. The more you reject it, the more it weakens you. Life doesn't negotiate, it doesn't wait, it doesn't care. Power isn't given, it's taken, and it's taken in the moments most people run away. Discomfort also builds clarity. When everything feels easy, your decisions are sloppy. When nothing challenges you, your vision is blurry. But when you embrace struggle, when you put yourself in high-pressure situations, suddenly the unimportant falls away. You see what matters. You sharpen your focus. You develop instincts that can't be taught, habits that can't be faked, and a mentality that refuses to surrender. That's how leaders are created. That's how winners operate. That's how the world starts taking notice. The moment you stop running from discomfort and start seeking it, you stop living under the rules of weakness. You take control. You create your own environment, you dictate your own standards, and you start moving at a level most people only dream of. And once you get addicted to the hard, once you realize that growth, power, and respect only come through pushing yourself past your comfort, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Discomfort stops being an enemy and becomes the fuel for everything you desire. Excuses are the silent killers of ambition. They hide behind your voice, dressed up in words that sound reasonable. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll do it tomorrow. Listen carefully. Those words are not just harmless thoughts. They are chains. Every excuse you make, every reason you invent to avoid effort is a brick in the wall between you and the life you claim you want. Excuses feel good in the moment because they protect you from pain, from effort, from challenge. They give you the illusion of safety. They tell you that avoiding action is clever, that delaying effort is strategic. But the truth is brutal. Excuses are cowardice disguised as logic, laziness disguised as planning, weakness disguised as wisdom. And while you comfort yourself with them, someone else is out there working, grinding, moving, taking, winning, while you sit still, spinning your wheels in a puddle of self-pity. Here's the hard reality nobody wants to admit. Success doesn't negotiate with excuses. The world doesn't care why you didn't show up, why you didn't take action, why you chose rest over discipline. Time keeps moving. Opportunities don't wait. And every excuse you make is another chance someone else takes that you've just thrown away. Excuses are the voice of mediocrity. They are the anthem of average people who talk about dreams but never act. And the scary part is, excuses feel normal. They feel comfortable. They feel justified. You tell yourself you're smart for avoiding discomfort, but what you're really doing is shrinking your potential. You're teaching yourself to settle for the life everyone else is content with. And if you keep listening to excuses, that's exactly what you'll get. Ordinary, forgettable, and replaceable. Every champion, every mogul, every person who has ever dominated their field has one thing in common. They killed excuses before excuses killed them. Why understood that action is the only language the world responds to. When they felt tired, they trained. When they felt fear, they moved forward. When they had no time, they made time. They refused to negotiate with weakness, and that's why they achieved what the majority of people only dream about. Excuses are like mosquitoes. You can ignore them, but they will drain your life little by little until there's nothing left but regret. The difference between someone who excels and someone who fails is not talent. It's not luck, it's not opportunity. It's the ability to refuse excuses and act anyway, even when it's inconvenient, painful, or uncomfortable. Think about this. Every excuse is a lie you tell yourself about your limits. You claim, I can't, but the reality is you just won't. You tell yourself it's too hard, but the truth is you're unwilling to push through the discomfort. Excuses are mirrors reflecting your fear, your laziness, your unwillingness to take responsibility for your life. And here's the hook. The moment you stop making excuses, the moment you take full ownership of your actions, your mindset shifts. Suddenly, obstacles are no longer threats, they're challenges. Pressure is no longer pain, it's opportunity. The things that once held you back now become the very fuel you need to move forward faster, stronger, sharper. Excuses die the second you decide that your goals matter more than your comfort, more than your fear, more than your hesitation. Excuses are seductive because they let you feel like a victim while avoiding the work required to win. They let you justify failure while maintaining the illusion of morality, intelligence, or cleverness. But winners don't talk about excuses. They crush them. They get up when no one is watching. They grind when it's lonely. They take action when every part of them wants to quit. That's the difference between people who dream and people who dominate. Excuses are the enemy. And if you want to rise above, if you want to live a life that commands respect and produces results, you must treat excuses like poison. Identify them, confront them, eliminate them, and replace them with discipline, accountability, and relentless action. Pain is not the enemy. Most people run from it, avoid it, and pretend it doesn't exist. But that's exactly why they remain small, weak, and average. Pain is a signal, a mirror, a compass showing you exactly where growth is happening. Every time your body aches, every time your mind struggles, every time your soul is stretched past the point it thinks it can endure, you are being shaped into something stronger. The people who succeed in life, the people who dominate, don't fear pain, they chase it. They know that pain is proof that they are leveling up, that they are leaving behind the comfort zone, that they are refusing to settle for mediocrity. If you are not feeling some kind of pain, you are not growing, you are stagnating, and the longer you avoid it, the further behind you fall while others push forward, becoming sharper, tougher, and more unstoppable. Think about it. Every setback, every struggle, every burn of effort you feel is a lesson disguised as difficulty. Pain is the gym for your character, the forge for your discipline, the crucible for your ambition. When you are uncomfortable, when your muscles scream, when your mind doubts, when your body wants to quit, those are the exact moments that separate the winners from the losers. Weak people shrink at the first hint of discomfort. They see the burn and they stop. They feel the pressure and they retreat. Strong people, powerful people, relentless people, they see that same burn and they lean into it. They see that pressure and they rise to it. That is how champions are made. That is how leaders are built. That is how your life transforms from ordinary to exceptional. Pain is not a punishment. It is a signal, a proof, a confirmation that the work you're putting in is creating results, yo. You cannot yet see, but will dominate once consistency and courage meet. Here's the harsh truth most people refuse to admit. Life will make you feel pain anyway. Avoiding discomfort does not protect you from hardship. It guarantees it. The world doesn't pause because you are tired. The economy doesn't slow down because you are scared. Relationships, health, career, wealth, they all demand sacrifice. They all require you to endure things that feel unbearable at first. Pain is inevitable, unavoidable, universal. The only choice you have is whether to let it break you or to let it make you. Every great athlete, every top entrepreneur, every fighter and warrior understood this instinctively. They didn't run from pain. They treated it as proof that they were doing something right, that they were stretching beyond the ordinary, that they were carving a future worth respecting. Pain is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are on the right path. Most people panic when they feel the sting of effort, the ache of challenge, the burn of discomfort. But the truth is brutal and simple. If it doesn't hurt, you aren't growing. If it isn't uncomfortable, you aren't advancing. The more pain you endure while still pushing forward, the faster your skill, your resilience, your power expands. Pain separates the weak from the strong because the weak quit and the strong persist. The hook is simple. When your body trembles, when your mind screams for rest, when your life feels heavy, remember that this is exactly what transformation feels like. If you want results that most people only dream about, you must become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You must learn to welcome pain as a teacher, as a guide, as proof that you are progressing, because in every ache, every struggle, every moment that tests your limits, you are becoming more than you were yesterday. Pain is the price of greatness. It is the only reliable signal that you are moving, improving, evolving, and creating a life worth owning. Every time you fight through it instead of giving in, you are building a body, a mind, and a soul that refuse to be dominated. You are proving to yourself that limits are temporary, that fear is optional, that success is earned by those willing to endure what others run from. Pain is proof. You are growing. Ease is the breeding ground for mediocrity. Most people settle into it without even realizing it. They wake up, follow the same routine, scroll through distractions, and convince themselves they are comfortable. But here's the truth. Comfort is quiet, subtle, and deadly. It lulls you into a false sense of security while stealing your ambition, your fire, your edge. Mediocrity doesn't explode into your life suddenly. It creeps in slowly, wrapping around you like a soft blanket, convincing you that settling is smart, that staying small is safe, that doing just enough is enough. Meanwhile, the world doesn't wait. While you are busy protecting your comfort, someone hungrier, stronger, more ruthless is out there taking everything you want. Ease doesn't just rob you of achievement. It robs you of identity, confidence, and respect. Look around you. Who thrives in life? Who earns, dominates, wins, and commands attention? Not the people who protect ease. Not the ones who avoid hard choices, long hours, or uncomfortable truths. No, it's the people who embrace struggle, who wake before the sun, who pursue challenge when everyone else is sleeping, who risk, fight, and endure when comfort is screaming for them to quit. That's where greatness comes from. Ease produces spectators. Discomfort produces leaders. If you want to separate yourself from the herd, you need to stop hiding behind ease. You need to stop treating comfort as a reward and start treating it as the enemy. The moment you make peace with ease is the moment you start declining into ordinary, average, and forgettable. Ease is seductive because it feels good in the moment. It whispers, you deserve R. Est, you've done enough. Why risk it? But listen carefully. Every time you listen to that whisper, you are trading long-term domination for temporary pleasure. The comfort you feel today is the compromise you will regret tomorrow. Mediocrity is not accidental, it is intentional. It is built every time you choose what's easy over what's necessary. Every skipped workout, every avoided risk, every excuse you accept, these are the building blocks of a life that will never demand respect. If you want to be remembered, if you want to own your space in the world, if you want to rise above the masses, you cannot give ease a single inch. Ease also dulls ambition. When life is comfortable, your brain slows down, your hunger fades, your standards drop. You begin to rationalize why settling is acceptable. You convince yourself that good enough is enough. But here's the hook. Good enough is not enough. Good enough is what the world ignores. Good enough is what disappears into the crowd. To escape mediocrity, you must learn to embrace discomfort as a training ground. You must seek challenges that force you to think, to act, to adapt, to grow. You must push against resistance every single day until struggle becomes your habit, pain becomes your friend, and ease becomes a reminder of the weak choices you refuse to make. Mediocrity thrives on repetition, predictability, and inactivity. It hides behind routines that feel safe and schedules that feel familiar. But the people who dominate, who leave their mark, who inspire fear and respect, they understand this truth. Ease is the enemy of legacy. Legacy is built by those who act when it hurts, who grind when it's inconvenient, who risk when everyone else hesitates. The difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary life is the willingness to reject ease at every turn, to treat comfort like poison, and to demand more from yourself than anyone else will. Ease feels like reward, discomfort feels like punishment, but the world doesn't reward comfort. The world rewards action, grit, persistence, and courage. Mediocrity lives in ease, and greatness thrives in the fires of challenge. Every time you protect comfort, you are building a life that will never demand respect. Every time you embrace challenge, you are proving to yourself and the world that you refuse to be average. Ease is a cage. Discomfort is freedom. The choice is yours. Action is the ultimate separator between the weak and the strong. Talent, intelligence, opportunity, and even luck can give someone a head start, but none of those things define greatness. What defines greatness is relentless action, the refusal to wait for perfect conditions, the courage to move when everyone else hesitates. Weak people think, they plan, they talk, they fantasize about what they could do, what they might achieve, and what they dream about while avoiding the risk, the effort, and the grind. Strong people do. They act, even when fear is whispering, even when failure seems likely, even when every reason exists to stay still. Action is not optional. It is the currency of results. Without it, your potential is worthless. Without it, dreams remain fantasies. Without it, you remain a spectator in a world that rewards doers. Here's the hard truth. Action is uncomfortable. Action forces you to confront resistance, failure, and uncertainty. Action demands courage, discipline, and sacrifice. But here's the hook. That discomfort is exactly what separates those who dominate from those who remain average. Weak people avoid it. They make excuses, delay, hesitate, and rationalize. Strong people lean into it. They embrace the discomfort because they know it is where results are born, where respect is earned, and where life starts listening to you. Every single day, the world rewards motion, decisiveness, and relentless effort. Every moment you delay, someone else is acting, learning, growing, and winning the very opportunities you are letting slip through. Your fingers. Action is the antidote to excuses. Excuses are the language of the weak, the armor of the fearful, and the comfort of the lazy. But action doesn't negotiate, it executes. Action doesn't wait for motivation, it creates momentum. Action doesn't ask for permission, it takes what it wants. The difference between those who accomplish extraordinary things and those who live ordinary, forgettable lives is not in their ideas, their dreams, or their plans. It is in what they actually do. Thoughts are useless. Plans are meaningless. Words are empty. Only execution, only movement, only action produces results, and the longer you delay, the more opportunities vanish, leaving you with regret instead of victory. Consider this. Inaction is not neutral. Every time you hesitate, every time you wait, every time you choose comfort over effort, you are moving backward relative to everyone who is acting. The weak fall behind not because they are incapable, but because they refuse to act when it matters most. The strong surge ahead because they understand that the path to dominance is forged by consistent, fearless, unrelenting action. Action compounds. Action builds confidence. Action commands respect. Action turns dreams into reality, ideas into results, and ambition into power. You cannot wish your way to success. You cannot hope your way to greatness. You cannot plan your way to dominance. You can only act. And here's the hook most people miss. The moment you act when others hesitate, the moment you move when others freeze, the moment you grind when others quit is the moment you separate yourself from the masses. Action creates momentum that fear, doubt, and obstacles cannot stop. Action trains your mind to overcome hesitation, your body to endure struggle, and your spirit to refuse compromise. Weak people talk about what they might do. Strong people do what others only dream of. Weak people wait for permission, for opportunity, for the right moment. Strong people take what they want, shape it with their effort, and create their own reality. Action is not optional for the ambitious. It is the measure of your will, the test of your character, and the only path to results. Every goal you dream of, every level of success you desire, every version of yourself you admire exists only on the other side of relentless action. Weak people stagnate. Strong people move. Weak people talk. Strong people execute. The world doesn't reward thinking. It doesn't reward planning. It rewards doing. It rewards movement. It rewards persistence. It rewards those who refuse to be average and decide every single day to act like the strongest, most unstoppable version of themselves. So decide who you want to be. The person who protects comfort or the person who protects their future. Get addicted to discipline. Choose the early mornings, the hard conversations, the lonely grind. Make discomfort your training partner, because once you master being uncomfortable, life stops controlling you. And when comfort no longer owns you, nothing can.